Good afternoon. Welcome to you and your student to the 2019 Envision Summer. We cannot wait to meet your student and begin this wonderful summer adventure. We are Danielle,
Milani,
Matt,
program staff here at Envision. To further prepare you and your student for the summer, we have compiled answers to some of the most frequently asked questions to make sure that your students' travel to their program is as smooth as possible. During the webinar, we will be covering topics such as airport arrivals, delayed or canceled flights, our required mandatory travel form, a special focus on our younger travelers as we look at unaccompanied minors and greeter information, and when to use our admissions and program helpline. During the webinar, we will also have a few individuals helping to answer questions via the chat feature of the webinar. Post our presentation if you have any other questions or topics that we did not touch on. Please reach out to the Office of Admissions. Before we start, we want to remind everyone that specific details for your Scholars Program may be found online on the student portal. It is also a place where you let us know how your scholar is traveling to the conference. Additionally, you can purchase the shuttle in advance. And for our younger age scholars, learn more about our unaccompanied minor and greeter process. To note, we want all families to provide us their student travel details no later than 3 weeks before the program starts.
thank you, Danielle. First up, I'm going to talk about common flight concerns. At this point in the process, you should be preparing to book or have already booked your travel to the program site. It is not required for minors to have a form of identification to fly. However, if possible, bringing a school ID card is highly preferable. If not, we recommend bringing a passport photocopy or a card with the parent or guardian information. Note that for some high school programs, it may be required for a student to bring some form of identification for site visits. Check your student portal to ensure you have the accurate information. It is fine if your student has a connecting flight. However, we highly recommend using direct flights as those have fewer opportunities for delays or other problems to arise. If a nonstop flight is not available, look for flights where your student will not have to change planes or carriers.
Next, we will transition into what happens after your scholar lands at the designated program airport. Where to meet us? All programs have staff at designated areas, typically a specific baggage claim. This information will be available on the Housing, Registration, and Travel Information form found on the student portal. Before going to the meeting location, make sure your student picks up their baggage first before proceeding to the meetup point. All students will be met by an Envision team member at the program's designated airport meeting location. Envision team members will be easily identifiable and will be wearing name badges, white or navy shirts, and black pants. The exact hours of an Envision team member at the airport vary by program. Wondering where to find your program's information? Check out again the Housing, Registration, and Travel Information. For our high school student travelers, if you plan to have your student use the shuttle and they arrive before the official start time, please have them wait at the designated baggage claim to meet our staff when they arrive. Again, it is important that your student picks up their luggage prior to meeting our staff. For our middle school student travelers, we will cover more about unaccompanied minors in a few slides.
Thanks, Milani. Next, we'll talk about airport shuttles. A shuttle service between the designated airport and the program housing location is provided for scholars arriving by plane for a fee of $35 one way or $70 round trip. To reserve your scholar space on the shuttle, select Envision Airport Shuttle and pay the fee online when you complete the required mandatory travel form on your student portal. On arrival day, the shuttles will depart from the airport to the housing site at approximately noon, and thereafter will run continuously. Shuttles depart according to the rate of student arrivals, which may result in a long wait period at the airport before boarding the shuttle. Almost all housing programs are 30 minutes or more from the airport. Many students use this time as an opportunity to enjoy a snack or other items to meet other students. Encourage your students to pack reading material in their carry-on to prepare for the shuttle wait time as well.
So heading home, let's touch on what happens now at the end of the programs after we talked a little bit about the front side of the programs. Envision staff will be at the airport to assist scholars with printing boarding passes and walking to security. For our high school travelers, scholars are responsible for getting themselves through security and to their assigned airline gate. Due to security restrictions, our staff are not allowed to go past the security lines with scholars. For our middle school travelers and those who have pre-arranged the unaccompanied minor greeter process, the assigned greeters follow the guidelines of the air carrier staff to ensure your scholar is at the correct places at the designated times. The last shuttle for the airport departs the housing site by approximately noon on the departure day. Staff will be available at the airport until that time. After 12 noon, staff may be reached via our program helpline. Scholars will also have the program office phone number on the back of their name badge in case they need any assistance at all. And one tip to share for you. Have you not yet purchased your ticket? Make sure you check the details, including the sample schedule, on the student portal before purchasing the plane ticket so your student can attend the morning closing events. And as a general rule, schedule that flight to depart in the early afternoon.
It's never desired, but it happens, a delayed or canceled flight. And if it does happen, we want to know. On arrival day, if your scholar's flight is delayed or they miss their flight, please call the program helpline immediately and we will inform our airport staff of your scholar's arrival status. If your student was originally scheduled to arrive during our official hours, rest assured that we will make sure that your student is picked up from the airport. If your scholar's flight is canceled on departure day, they should contact the program helpline immediately for assistance. We also highly encourage families to contact the airlines direct to see if the scholar can get on another flight that day. If there is family or a family friend in the area, a student may check out of the program upon authorization per our checkout procedures with them. In the rare case that the student is unable to fly out until another date, Envision staff will work with families on best options. There are a few things that you and your scholar can do. First, plan. Make sure you and your scholar have each other's contact information. Secondly, make sure you have the specific program contact information handy. Here you can see a sample from one of our high school programs. All programs have a similar housing, registration, and travel form online with pertinent information. An important section on the form are the flight windows for your specific program. The flight windows ensure your scholar will be met by and/or receive assistance from experienced Envision staff, allow your scholar the opportunity to utilize the airport shuttle, and provide best chance for your scholar to arrive to the program on time and not miss any exciting events. Additional tips include: be on time. Airlines have specific check-in times, typically 2 hours to flight departure. Next, be patient. Airports can be frenetic places. And finally, there is always a solution. No matter what may occur, Envision and airport staff all have the same goal: to help our travelers get to their destination.
Before we continue, we want to make sure to remind everybody about the mandatory travel form. The mandatory travel form is how you inform us of your scholar's travel details, be it via plane, train, automobile, etc. Let's take a quick look on where to find the mandatory travel form. There are two ways to access the student portal. One, direct via myenvisionexperience.com, or two, on our main website homepage by clicking Login on the top right corner. After logging in, you will then be taken to a scholar-specific account page. In the top right of the page, click on Enrollment Forms and Info. This will load a page that lists all forms available for your scholar. Under the travel category header, you will see several forms. The mandatory travel form is required for attendance at the program. This form captures details on both arrival and departure day. After you have filled in the form, should you find the need to make updates or changes, you will be able to re-access the form and revise it.
Okay, so let's touch upon our last topic, which is regarding students flying with the unaccompanied minor status. And there will be a few slides here for individuals to read and to take in information. First, what is unaccompanied minor status? When an airline offers the additional assistance of the personnel to a minor traveling without a parent, guardian, or other trusted adult, the airline refers to this as unaccompanied minor status. When flying with unaccompanied minor status, an adult must escort the minor to the departure gate and they remain at that gate until the flight is, quote, in the air. Upon the minor's arrival at their final destination, the authorized adult must then be present at the arrival gate to greet the minor and escort them through the airport. Almost all of our middle school travelers fly with this unaccompanied minor status, and we staff accordingly to support them and to support you, our families. If your student is attending a high school program and you wish to use the unaccompanied minor status, be sure to consult with the airline to check the age requirements, and then reach out direct to our Office of Admissions after seeking airline approval. We do recommend that, if possible, you purchase a nonstop flight if your student is flying as an unaccompanied minor. Be aware that most airlines do charge a fee for the unaccompanied minor services. This fee has a range of pricing, anywhere from $50 to $300 US each way, in addition to the airfare. One resource that we have found helpful is about the unaccompanied minor guidelines can be found in the guide, Kids Fly Alone, which is located on the Department of Transportation's website. So what is helpful, or what else is helpful to know when flying as an unaccompanied minor? First, contact that airline directly for specific information. Any fees associated with traveling as an unaccompanied minor are not included in the program tuition. Bring a government-issued photo ID of the accompanying adult, dropping that scholar off, as well as proof of the scholar's age, copy of a birth certificate, passport, etc. Just good planning and good practice, good backup. Arrive early, typically 2 hours before departure, for check-in at your airline's ticket counter. This will allow you the proper time to complete any necessary unaccompanied minor paperwork. And do read our online information. For all of our middle school programs, your student online portal, what was referenced earlier, will showcase two different documents for you. One is information explaining the unaccompanied minor status process, and we have a little image of it here, as you can see on the screen. And two are samples from airline paperwork to help you complete the unaccompanied minor process. To help complete the airline forms, we do the following, and this is about the individuals who are meeting your scholar at the respective airports. To help you, 2 days prior to the program start, greeter information will be emailed. You will receive the full legal name and birth date of 2 individuals who will be assigned as your scholar's greeters. The email will be sent to the email that is on the student's file. If you need to confirm or want to make certain that we have the accurate email on file, please just reach out direct to our Office of Admissions and we can confirm that email detail with you. In addition to the names of the greeters, you may need also to provide an address or a phone number. This varies by airlines. So for example, some airlines only require one greeter name. If so, please use the following that you see on the screen, such as just that greeter 1. If your airline requires 2 greeter names, then use that detail. And if your airline requires an address or a phone number, use our 1919 Gallows Road, Vienna, Virginia address, and then the company program helpline that is found in our online information. Remember, all this information can be found on your student online portal. Now let's take a look at one of the samples that we have online. The sample that you see right now is from Southwest Airlines. Here we have a scholar flying in and out of Baltimore, Maryland, or the BWI airport. If you look at the arrival day sample, the airline is seeking the contact information of exactly whom is meeting the student at the destination, in this case, the BWI airport. Here, the greeter 1 information is inputted. So that greeter 1 information from our email is used in this form right here. Now Southwest also includes space for an alternate contact name, and that is the greeter 2 information from the email inputted right here. On the return or departure day sample, the airline seeks the same information. You can see where the parent or guardian address is listed, as well as for an alternate or second contact details. And as you can see on the example, here you just complete the exact same information for whomever is meeting the student, be it a parent or the other designated individual. Other samples may be found on the student portal for most of our most commonly used airlines for our programs.
Thank you all for taking the time to watch this webinar. Thank you also for being so active in the chat function while the webinar was going on. We did notice with some of the questions, a lot of them can be answered on the student portal, highlighting mostly the housing, registration, and travel form, as well as the mandatory travel form. We also received a couple of questions regarding students not using the shuttle and using some other form of public transportation to get to the housing site. While that is allowed, we do highly recommend that scholars do use the Envision shuttle. We will have staff that will be meeting your scholar at the designated meeting location for baggage claim. We'll also be with them until the shuttle arrives, and we'll have a staff member riding on that shuttle with the scholars from the airport to the housing site. So they'll be with us and in our care and safe for the entire time. So we highly recommend using that service. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this webinar. We will be on the chat function for another 15 minutes afterwards, so please stay on if you have any other questions. And if you need to speak with someone about anything we talked about today or for any other reason, please reach out to our Office of Admissions. The contact information is listed on this slide. Thank you again for your time, and we look forward to meeting your scholars soon and providing them with the experience of a lifetime.